Hey everybody, welcome back to A Sweet Journey. I am Sweets. Thank you all for stopping by. I'm so excited. I told you all a little bit about my hair journey in 2020. And so in 2021, I am shifting and I am trying new things and I'm really working on building productivity in my hair growth and building kind of really good practices as I've been focusing on my eating and working out. I also want to focus on other things like the health of my hair, and I really want to love my hair. I do. She's showing out today because she got straightened, and the hairdresser loved on her and kind of whipped her into shape. And so, she's living her best straight life today, and I'm very grateful. However, I really want to make sure that I acknowledge and celebrate the natural part of my hair. And so I've been natural for years, and I've struggled with how to maintain my natural hair because it is, she likes to go big and she likes to be kind of unkept. And I like to be kind of decent and in order. She doesn't want that. And so we've been in this battle for a little while. And I made a decision that I would take some lessons that I learned from plant care. You'll notice that I have plants in my home. Let me just show you. There's all kinds of plants in the house, and they are living their best life. And so because I see their growth and I see what they're doing, I've decided that I'm going to model my process in 2021 after the care for plants. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I feel good about it though, because it's organic, it's natural, it makes sense for me. So there are essentially three things that I took. So I did an extensive interview with someone who I know is good with plants because she takes care of these beautiful plants. This is Miss Cindy, by the way, everybody. My mom's name was Lucinda. Sometimes we called her Miss Cindy. At her funeral, someone brought a plant. I think it came from maybe my job, or I don't know. But I had this plant that I took from the funeral, and it was like about maybe that big. It was in a small pot. It was really small. She is showing out, and she's not only here, but she has been clipped and is kind of around the whole house now. Like, she's just everywhere. Little pieces of her. We have Miss Cindy. We have Miss Lou. We have, she is doing a lot. And so I really want to kind of lean into that a little bit. And so there were three things that stood out to me from this interview about plant care that I want to implement into my hair care journey. Okay? So hopefully this is something that you're interested in. If it is, keep watching. If it's not, sorry, we'll get to cooking or other things that might interest you in another video. So here we go. All right, so the first thing that I learned in plant care was, oddly enough, it was to be present. And so I was like, what does that look like, being present? So being present is really simple. It's like paying attention, being deliberate, being intentional in the care of the plants. And so I introduced to you Joy. So you'll notice that Joy has beautiful lilies. Joy was in a window with direct sunlight. It was discovered that Joy hated that, and Joy was moved to the door, or to kind of next to the door where she is now. And she is so much better now. It's just, she's not great with direct sunlight. So being present allowed her to notice that Joy needed something different. She wasn't doing well with direct sunlight. So that was one thing. This is Buttons. So Buttons was in the kitchen. And when Buttons was in the kitchen, Buttons was like, I don't know, it's just this little leaf, like maybe 2 or 3 leaves. Move Buttons to this spot, and you see her, like she is like all in, like leaves up. She is making it happen. One more that I want to show you, and that is Miss B. Miss B is showing out. And she is truly, truly living. And so Miss B, interestingly enough, when I lost my mom, I received Miss B as a gift, and she was a clip from somebody else's plant, and so she was literally like transported in a like cup or a very small container, just a leaf, and now she's taking over an entire space. That's Miss B. So what does that mean for hair care? So being present, what that says to me is I had braids for 3 months, and braids typically are intended to be a protective style. So for 3 months, I had these braids in. I love my braids. It was the best set of braids that I've ever done on myself. The problem is that I wasn't present in the protective style process. And so I didn't oil my scalp. I didn't put anything on my hair at all. My hair was just in those braids for 3 months. And that is not being present. And so what should have happened is that I should have been oiling my scalp. I should have been putting leave-in conditioner on my braids, because my hair, though she's in a protective style, she actually still needs some love and attention. So that's the one thing. So be present. All right. Lesson number 2 is pruning. So pruning is defined as trimming by cutting away dead or overgrown branches or stems, especially to increase fruitfulness and growth. And it's typically like in a tree or a shrub or a bush, something like that. So for the plants, one of the things, Blake, with these big old leaves, had some dead leaves kind of at the bottom and in some of the different places. So when I was interviewing about the care of Blake, the thing that came up was they were trying to preserve the dead leaves and try to bring them back to life, like trying to hold on to them so that they can kind of maintain the growth of the plant. The problem with that is that by leaving the dead on the plant, then you have dead amongst the living, and the dead is impacting like the living of the inside the plant. And so it is actually more beneficial to remove the dead so that the plant can flourish and to grow. Just like the reason that we prune, or the reason that something is being pruned, is because you want to cut away the dead so that there's fruitfulness. How much does that relate to our hair care process? So oftentimes in our attempt to grow our hair, we don't cut it because we want to grow it, and we think it's like, why would I cut my hair if I want my hair to grow longer? It's the pruning process. So it is beneficial to start with all of the dead gone. And I think my hair is a really good example of that, whereas I had I think it was like 2 videos ago, and maybe I'll put that in one of these, enjoy one of those spaces, but it looked like I had been chewing on the ends of my hair. And so that dead hair that was on the end of my hair was impacting all of my hair. And so getting my hair cut or pruned, but getting it cut now leaves this really nice, like full head of healthy hair. And so now I can start the process. Now I can begin what I believe is like natural hair care processes, which actually takes me to the next point. So remember, the first lesson from plant care is being present. The second is pruning. The third is have a process. And this, if you watch any hair care YouTube videos, every person who has a very healthy full head of hair has a process that they have for their hair. Same with the plant. So with the plants that are in my home, here's the process. Every weekend there is music playing because an atmosphere needs to be set. This is the thinking for the person who keeps these beautiful plants alive in my home, in my life. So it's not me, just so we're clear about that. Anyway, a whole nother thing. But so there's music that's being played to set an atmosphere. Then there are conversations, and I probably shouldn't say conversations, I should say monologues, but like just really intentional, like talking to, like, good job. Oh, you're doing such a great job today. Like, oh, look at you. You're beautiful. Oh, Joy, look, you have a new lily. Congratulations. And that's happening. There's also prayer, like literal prayer. What's the way that the plants are being cared for is through a process. And so this process happens literally every weekend. And so there is music, there are these kind of talking to, prayer, but then there's also, I will tell you something very phenomenal, which is there is the naming of every plant that enters this home gets a name. There's 2 right now that are new that a name is coming. We want to make sure that the plants has the right name. So when we're talking to it, there's something about that. Well, I definitely want to name my hair. There are 2 people who stand out to me right now who are people that they've named their hair and they've allowed us to be a part of their hair care kind of process. And that's Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown is one of my favorite human beings in the whole wide world. And her hair is named Donna. That's Donna. All right. And then it is Star Puppy. And Star Puppy has named her hair Puff Nugget. Don't you love that? Puff Nugget. And so these 2 ladies have found it helpful to name their hair, and they nourish their hair and all that. And so I'm in the process now. I have some names that I'm throwing around. I was thinking about, so it's hard to name her in this state because this is not her normal state. This is her blown out in Flatiron. This is not her natural state. Her natural state is go big or go home, like 100% of the time. She wants to get big and she wants to take all the moisture in the atmosphere and go right? So I was thinking about naming her Felicia, Full, Isha. So Felicia, someone offered the name Floisha, but this would be Floisha. She doesn't typically flow like this. We considered Cece because she's kind of like cotton candy on a normal day, and so cotton candy, Cece. I like that name a lot. But I would love your recommendations. If you would like to give a recommendation for what I should name my hair, please put that in the comment section. I would love that. But my intention is to set a routine for my hair care. And so I don't want to set it as every week because I don't necessarily think my hair wants me to deal with her every week, but maybe every 2 weeks or something like that. The one thing I do know that will be a kind of a rotation will be so I started off with my hair straight this year, and it's because I needed my ends clipped. I won't get my ends clipped as often. However, my intention is to do a rotation of my natural hair. Maybe sometimes I may have it straight because my hair actually likes heat a lot. It just does well with heat, like it can handle it. And so I may have it straight sometimes, and then I will absolutely wear braids as well, or protective styles. However, I think I only want to do it for like a month. So I'll wear a protective style for a month, and then I will include conditioning, deep conditioning, what products I'll be using, that kind of thing. So I am building the process for my hair care, just as I build like tracking my food and drinking a certain amount of water and working out so many minutes in a day. Same way I worked on that process, I'm going to build a process for my hair care, and I will bring you along with me. So that's it. That's the plan. That's where I am. And I thank you all so much for just hanging out and kind of following along as I work through these journeys of my life. And if you are an African American female and you know very much the struggles of learning to love your hair. It is a battle, but it's a battle that I intend to win. That's where I am. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love that. And definitely make sure that you subscribe. And I would love to hear all of your comments. If you have comments about how you've been inside of the natural hair care process, I would love to hear that, your thoughts. I know that there are very strong opinions about wearing your hair straight if you're natural. As Tab would say, again, one of my favorite people, that's my business. So, good luck in your process. I'm in mine. But I'm excited. I'm excited to bring you all along on the process. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.